Now, Matt.
Yep.
Certainly it's been a long week.
Has been.
A lot of recordings. My voice is currently failing me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have room in the tank for one more.
One more what?
One more salt.
One more once.
Because this is the 6-month sub mount. Just entered the World of Warcraft. It's also the taxi in Shadowlands. No, it's not. In Dragonflight. I mean, maybe it's the same rig, but whatever. And it does piss me off. Because this would have been cool to earn in Dragonflight Blizzard. And I do like how Dragonflight has a lot of nice mounts. But it definitely does feel like you guys do try to segment away the coolest, most unique shit and throw it into a promotion. And I know I do that for the sake of money. But also, you've increased the price of the Dragonflight expansion. Your game costs money at a time where you have been delivering less content than ever, it's felt. So, it does just feel bad when you see this promotion and then somebody logs in, they watch a streamer or YouTuber or something, and they see them flying around on the 6-month mount, and it's the flight point. And the first time that Blizzard did this was back in Warlords of Draenor, and I tried to really rake them over the coals for it. Not that that helped, but that's where the Fey Dragon, which was, of course, just a local beast in Shadowmoon Valley, it's when that was used. It was used as a storm mount. And that was shit. It was really shitty because, man, we could have had something like, I mean, that's Shadowmoon Valley. Do you know what's also in the Shadowmoon Valley? Netherwing. We could have had something like Netherwing, where maybe you go to the Dracorium in Shadowmoon Valley, you raise a Fey Dragon up over 30 days, and then it's your Fey Dragon. And there's a little story to the mount, you feel really good. Let's just swipe. That's the thing with all these shitty store mounts. There's fucking nothing to them. They mean nothing. My character did nothing to get them. I think about my Netherwing. I got that in, like, it was late TBC, early Wrath, one of the two. I think it was... Yeah, no, it was early Wrath that I got my Netherwing Drake. But that was a time where I was a new player to the game, so I wasn't good at earning gold. And that was real work for me, and then a lot of the, the grinding, doing quests and everything. And that was like a meaningful fucking mount. But now what happens is, you feel the, ooh, I want a dopamine hit. Where can I get my dough? Ooh, buy in the store. Buy. Oh, it's mine. Yeah. And there's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. But you see when it's done like this, it feels like you've taken this mount away from me, Blizzard. Because I now own this because I have the 6-month sub. It's what makes the most financial sense because, of course, I play, World of Warcraft stuff. It's like part of the job, so I'm always going to have a sub. But I was like, you've given me this mount, and in a way, you've taken it away from me. Because, like, imagine if... I mean, they've done this in other times too, but at least they were less blatant. Like the, the big golden dragon that uses the serpent, the sort of Asian dragon, like Chinese dragon style, Pandaria thing. They used the same, like, sort of rig, but they changed it up a bit, at least, for the golden dragon or whatever it's called. But, like, could you imagine if the Cloud Serpent faction didn't exist, and instead the Cloud Serpent was a 6-month sub reward? That'd be shitty, man. So it's like, Blizz, if you're going to do this, put the fucking work in and make something new for the store. Don't yank something out of the next expansion and give it to people piecemeal for, extra money or some sort of promotion, and instead make some content to earn this mount in the game, because that will win my subscription. It'll win someone's subscription. It'll give them something to do. How many people in the 2nd month or 3rd month of Mists of Pandaria, they got a little bit bored, so they went to do Order of the Cloud Serpent? That's not something that can happen anymore. And this is the problem. Your game turns into a Bing Bing Wahoo Timeless Isle treadmill, or a Get Better Gear treadmill. But there's none of the fucking content that used to drive getting these cool mounts and things like that. And I guess I just saw this, That was quite funny because I was on the alpha while people were reacting to this, but they didn't know where it was coming from. And they were also like, oh, wow, Blood Elves. Could this be a Blood Elf thing? What's going to happen, And now the place that I saw this was called Theron's Watch, so it is Blood Elf related. It's like a Blood Elf encampment. But, like, this could have been a Blood Elf mount. The Blood Elves could have earned somehow. I mean, they would be getting a lot of love considering what they just got in 925. But maybe it could have been a mount that Horde and Alliance could use by helping a Blood Elf contingent of the cross-faction delegation who are going to the Dragon Isles. But no. No, it's not content. It's not heart. It's not story. Now it's like, because you guys sometimes talk about feeling like, you know, you need a cool reward to like justify making the content. And it's like, I can kind of get that. You know, maybe it does feel like it's more worth making the Mage Tower in a world where you have an awesome weapon to give someone if they are able to climb that hill. Well, now you've taken the thing at the top of the hill and you're now selling it to somebody, and now you have no reason to build the hill. And climbing up the hill is the content, it's the gameplay. And maybe that could have been a story with, you know, my character and a bunch of Blood Elves, and I could have learned more about the Blood Elves. But no, none of that can be now because it's on the store. And that feels fucking shit. Feels scummy in a game that just raised the price of its new expansion and still is charging a premium subscription fee in a time where all-time low amount of content's being delivered. Because Blizz, you guys, as the response to Dragonflight shows you, because honestly, I do think that the negative response is completely disproportionate to the initial quality of what's there. Now, I am open, absolutely. If bad things happen in the future and, you know, there are bad systems or whatever, that's when I'll talk about the systems being bad. I'm not going to walk in, though, and just be like, I didn't like Shadowlands, therefore, even though I really do enjoy dragon riding, I enjoy playing an Evoker, and I really like this zone, I'm just going to trash it anyway because fuck it, it's what we do. I'm not going to do that. But a lot of people are. And in a world where Blizzard is just pulling shit like this, just feeding the fire. Like, one of the things we talked about at the very start of this stream, like 4 hours and 20 minutes ago or whatever it was that once that takes hold in somebody, it takes the tiniest amount of negativity to keep it going, to keep it fed. And it's like they're just okay with drip feeding that. So, that's my take on this. My opinion.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated.
Well,
I think it's silly and needless.
Yeah, I think that's the thing where we will, because of how they're focus testing the alpha, it's like I'm saying, we'll be focus testing parts of the game. And we'll be taking every part of the game as an individual part. But games aren't individual parts. Games aren't, hey, here's part A of the game, here's part B of the game, here's part C. It is a game in its whole. And that's why you see games that are like 50 hours long and like 30 hours before they get to anything good, and people love them because the whole experience is worth it. And for World of Warcraft, a lot of the time the whole experience isn't kind of all that strong. Dude. There's some parts that are strong, there's some parts that are weak, but as a holistic system, people are used to World of Warcraft not being very good. And until they see a working thing, it's exactly like there is the thing people post about, you know, there's a man squatting over a plate. And you're like, well, I know what's going to happen. But someone goes, well, you don't know it's not on the plate. You don't want it is. And people are very much saying that, of going, we're waiting for you to release this because we know something's going to go wrong here. We know what you're going to deliver. That's what a lot of people are thinking. People who are separate enough to go, well, we can look at this individually as parts and then construct the whole at the end, which isn't necessarily better. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's kind of less assuming in the now and kind of, there's a little bit of copium in that of going, okay, let's assume this is a fresh start and wait for the actual results. And that's basically kind of what ultimately kind of happens. It's like people assume the whole will be a bit different, but not radically different. And I think that's ultimately the problem. No matter what they do, World of Warcraft Dragonflight will be World of Warcraft Dragonflight. It will not be something completely new Dragonflight. Mm-hmm. And World of Warcraft for three expansions has meant Mythic Plus, PvP, raids. And one of them's half abandoned, mostly abandoned. Slightly less abandoned now, but pretty much abandoned.
PvP?
Yeah. And one of them has had major issues throughout Shadowlands in terms of quality. And the other one's kind of alright in Shadowlands. Yeah. And that's what people are kind of basing their opinion on. So, hard to blame people. It's not technically correct, but it's hard to blame them when you're holistic or when you're pragmatic about people's experience.
Yeah, no, that's it. So again, I think it's just to say, like, they have to understand how much of an uphill battle they have with a lot of the vocal community